Although summer is now coming to an end, construction and maintenance works are still underway on several projects around the community. Ratsénhaienhs Lindsay Leborgne, who holds the lead on the Infrastructure, Transport and Operations portfolio, provides us with an update on some of the completed and ongoing projects around town.
Sure. Well, as you can see, we're standing on Rabaska Road, right in front of where Rabaska's used to be, Kahnawake institution, and you can see them working down this road. Right now they're replacing water pipes and sewer pipes and the drainage from the hospital and coming up right up this way into to the main highway here. They're about halfway done now, and I would anticipate another, several more weeks, and then we should be done on this. Well, the lift station there has been there for about at least 25 years, and there was need for replacement of pumps and general maintenance. After a number of years, you have to, make sure your infrastructure is all still sound. So that's ongoing. That's like a maintenance thing. It's an ongoing thing. We also have War Eagle Road, which leads down to the beach. They call it War Eagle Road. They're putting in water and sewer for the first time down there. So the people down there will be able to hook up to the centralized system. I wouldn't say it's halfway finished, because they're hitting a lot of stone over there right now, because everybody knows Kahnawake. We're on like a giant rock. And every time you dig here, you hit stone. So that's ongoing. Also, Barnes Road, which forks off there, is going to be have water and sewer put in, and the road will be paved. It hasn't never been paved, and the people down there, I'm sure, will be happy at that because of the dust issues. We have that problem several places in town, and I know people are anxious to have the road paved. It's extremely expensive. You have to get permissions from people because the road has to be a certain width, and sometimes you have to ask them to give a little bit, and a lot of times people are reluctant to give anything, and so that's an ongoing issue in the community. The other issue I wanted to mention, everybody remembers about a month ago, they were repairing a pipe from the water treatment plant to the lift station in front of the hospital, and when the back digger dug, they hit the power line that pumps to the lift station that pushes it to the sewage treatment plant. So it knocked it out, and they had to do an emergency bypass, which they ended up putting it in the bay, wreck bay. And I know there was a big outcry. Just so people understand, we have an auxiliary generator that we were gonna put there. It turns out that had been commandeered by the COVID task force, so it was unavailable. So the next thing they did was, okay, we're gonna get Sanivac, those huge trucks that you see to take the sewage. They called Sanivac, and Sanivac couldn't send any trucks because it was near the construction holiday, so they didn't have enough people, so that idea was nixed. In the meantime, the sewage is rising, so as an emergency to prevent a backup into the hospital and all the homes in that area, they bypassed it into the bay for about an hour and a half. I was told by the engineers it amounted to about 20,000 gallons of, well, it's sewer water, but everybody imagines it's solid waste. It was the water, because the solids dropped to the bottom. It's dirty water, there's no doubt about it, sewage water. You don't want to be in it, but they had no choice or to back up. It would back up into the hospital. So what they did is, after about an hour and a half, they figured out another place, a manhole cover that they could put it in, that it would go into the seaway directly instead of the bay, and that's what they did. Anyway, that's been repaired, that was fixed. We're very sorry, everybody's cognizant of sewage, and we don't want our environment to be polluted. They would not have done it if they had absolutely no other choice. They tried several things, as I said, and now the water, after 1 week, the water was back to acceptable levels. So yeah, it's terrible. We hope it never happens again. We're gonna try to make sure it never happens again. But as they say, never is a long time. I can't guarantee anything other than we're gonna die someday. That's about all I can guarantee. And the last thing that I could think of is, again, back to the water treatment plant. They have membranes that help filter the water that we get to make it drinkable. And they have a shelf life of a certain amount of years. And they've reached their limit, so they had to be replaced. And just in cooperation with the different groups that we have in the community, they were able to replace those things. And on top of that, we're also thinking in the future we might put a catch basin to avoid ever having that lift station problem again. Basically, it would be a big holding tank that it could be put in until maybe there needs to be a repair on the pumping station, so you don't have to put any water anywhere into the seaway or in the bay. And so that's a project that we're looking at right now. I guess we're going to have to collaborate with Lands, making sure where we find a spot where that can be put and safely done. Our town workers work extremely hard. I know people only notice anything when something goes wrong, and I guess that's human nature. But our guys are working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and if it's not the guys actually digging, it's the guys that are driving around the road making sure there's no obstacles in the road, there's no big giant potholes. They're constantly driving around town trying to repair it. We have the guys that are working 24/7 in the water treatment plant, in the sewage treatment plant. So our guys are always on the job. And the guys that do, as we're looking at right here, they work hard. It's unsung job, like I said. Nobody cares until their water's not good or their sewage is backing up. Other than that, nobody pays attention to them, but they're hardworking men, and they're our guys. They're from Kahnawake. So I think it's time that we recognize them and their hard work and dedication. Like I said, it always goes unsung until something goes wrong.